Had to get a drink. Okay. Now for part 2 of Vince McMahon, corporate gigolo, I guess we can call him. I guess I'll call that this whole series. But years later, Vince McMahon, it is discovered that he has an illegitimate child. A love child, no less. Again, I am assuming this is part of the whole story of that he had an affair with Linda. I don't know if that's true or not. I could see it happening because, wrestling takes you away from your family, and it would not shock me if Vince had hooked up with somebody else. But again, that's just hearsay. I don't know if that's true or not. But what I do know is they turned this into a storyline where it was discovered that Vince had, like I said, an illegitimate child. A bastard. And suddenly now everybody's wondering who it could be. Who could be the child, the love child of Vince McMahon? Because it would be obvious that this child would be just amazingly rich, because he would be a McMahon. He would, yes, McMahons are awesome. McMahons are gods of wrestling, and this child would eventually inherit the World Wrestling Federation, World Wrestling Entertainment, whatever you want to call it. It's still WWE to me, or WWF to me. God damn it! But this would lead to a series of vignettes or just different things that who could possibly be Vince's child, because there was enough young wrestlers out there to actually make this work. Like, one of his wrestlers could actually be his child. This one person out of thousands of wrestlers throughout the world could be his child. Now, pardon me, I will tell you, the biggest rumor about this whole angle was the fact that, according to everybody that has talked about it, it was supposed to be, I'm just, again, going by a rumor, the whole McMahon bastard child thing, it was supposed to be Mr. Kennedy, if rumors are true, because Ken Anderson is his real name. He's in TNA now, or was in TNA, but he came in as Mr. Kennedy. Like, Ken Kennedy was his name, and he would I will admit, he did have one of the coolest entrances, because he would get in the ring, and suddenly he would do like a superhero pose or something. He would just reach up like this, and this microphone would come down from the ceiling, like the old style microphones, and he would grab it and he would say, like, "I'm from Wisconsin, weigh 252 pounds," and then suddenly he would go, "Mr. Kennedy!" And then he'd get up on the top rope and look out to the crowd and go, "Kennedy!" And apparently people liked that. I like the fact that he could just summon a microphone out of anywhere. And I think in TNA, I know they did it. I don't know if they did it with WWF, but he could just go anywhere and summon a microphone. He could say, like, "Oh, here's your dry cleaning, Mr. Kennedy." Like, no, you did that wrong. He gets the microphone and it comes down, I guess, and he goes, "Mr. Kennedy!" Yeah. I'm not going to keep doing that. Okay, one more time. "Mr. Kennedy!" It's fun. It's better than saying Mr. Anderson. But Yeah. Originally, this was supposed to be Vince's love child. And you know what? It would have worked. Because, for starters, his name is Kennedy. And Vince's middle name is Kennedy. So, there's a link. Secondly, he had the cocky attitude. He had the brash arrogance about him that he could literally pose as a McMahon. And of course, he could ride that train all the way to the world title because Vince was like, he's my son! That's my son! And he's going to win the championship! And yes, my son! And it could just branch out to so many different storylines. You know, Shane and Stephanie are jealous of Kennedy because Vince is putting all of his focus on him. And they're like, what the fuck? We've been here all the time. You know, we're your biological children. He's half. You know? I guess he would be a biological child, too. But you know what I mean. Like, we've been here since the beginning, Dad. The hell? So, of course, like I said, this, I believe, was supposed to be it. The only problem was Mr. Kennedy had a problem with drugs or illegal substances or something. He basically failed their drug test. WWE has a really extensive drug test, especially since a lot of their wrestlers have died of various drug-related instances, like Eddie Guerrero and stuff like that. But they basically have a drug testing policy where if you fail once, I think it's a 30-day suspension. You fail twice, it's 60 days. Third time, you're fired. And of course, right as they're doing this whole angle with the McMahon love child, and the rumors are circulating that it is Kennedy, and people want to cheer this. They want this guy. They want a reason to hate this guy or boo this guy because he is so charismatic. They want to do something with him. Suddenly he fails the drug test and he's suspended. And so, I can only assume that, like, Vince McMahon, he goes like, oh shit, like, now they're going in damage control. And Vince is like, okay, we need to do something with this angle, like, because we can't just abandon it. We're too far ahead into it, damn it. We got to do something with it. We can't use Kennedy anymore. And they say, well, okay, we need... Who can we get? We can just throw somebody in here? Like, well, yeah, we could do that. And rumor was they were going to go with Triple H. That would have been funny. That would have been really funny. Because... No, actually, no. It would not have been funny at all. Because then... that would have been just fucking disturbing. To have Vince, like Triple H being Vince's illegitimate son and being married to his daughter, who is technically his half-sister, and you don't want to see it, but at the same time, you almost thought they would. You almost thought that's how sick they would be. And by this time, everybody knew Vince, or Triple H and Stephanie were married anyway, so it didn't matter. But this is one of these angles that started off really cool, had a really good premise to it, but then just fell on its ass. Because, okay, the night they decide to finally reveal who this is, Triple H does come out whenever they're ready to announce it. And of course, everybody's cheering, and Triple H says, like, Vince, I'm not your son. I'm not, no, nobody's your son. Don't worry, it's not me. And they announced that I'm almost disappointed to say it, but they say that your illegitimate child is Hornswoggle. Now, for those of you out there that have never seen wrestling and just watch these videos for whatever reason, you're probably asking, who the hell is Hornswoggle? Well, Hornswoggle was a midget. I'm sorry, a little person. Little person. He was about yay tall, but he had wrestled in TNA for a little bit. But he had come to the WWF as he was with Fit Finlay, who if you don't know who Fit Finlay is, he's this Irish wrestler, like really thick accented Irish wrestler, cool as hell. I loved his theme music in the WWF. It's like, my name is Finlay, and I love to fight. You know, he's just typical stereotype Irishman. He got drunk and he fought. Why not? And I apologize if Icky's in the way. But, all of a sudden, this little midget dude, little leprechaun type dude, got involved and was getting involved in Finlay's matches, helping him win, whatever. They called him that little bastard. They called him Little Bastard. But of course, we're starting to get into the PC era again, so we can't just keep calling him Little Bastard because the children might get offended. So they decide to call him Hornswoggle. I hate that fucking name. And we can't call him a midget. We can't call him a midget because that's offensive. So they decide to call him a leprechaun. Like, he's a leprechaun. That's what he is. You know, I think it would be. They should have just went the full stereotype route and just had him carry around a box of Lucky Charms with him all the time. You know, like somebody steals that box, he goes running after him. Or not, like he has a Lucky Charms and everybody's chasing him. You know, he's like, get back here with me Lucky Charms. And I apologize to every Irish person out there, but I guess it made sense because Vince is, I guess, Irish. Yeah, I believe he is Irish. So there's your payoff. Vince, his illegitimate child, is Hornswoggle. Wow. What a build-up. What a build-up. And as you could probably have guessed, this angle went straight down the toilet almost immediately. Because there's no way they could have branched out from this. Because, again, Shane and Stephanie aren't going to be, you know, they're not going to be threatened by Hornswoggle. It's not like Hornswoggle can have any title matches because he'd get killed. So, basically the 4 to maybe 5 months of this angle that was choreographed, written down, thought out, everybody had their roles to play, it meant exactly nothing. It amounted to basically shitting on a camera. Really, the only other time they mentioned this was during Raw's like 9,000th episode special. By the way, Monday Night Raw has had a lot of fucking special episodes for it. You know, they just had their like 5,000th episode recently. They just had. Like, they had their 238th episode spectacular like The Simpsons used to do. I don't know. They had some type of special where Vince was going to have a family portrait done. So he brought his wife out and he brought Steph out. And by this time, Shane had left the company. He was not associated with the company anymore. And then suddenly Triple H comes out. And they, again, tongue-in-cheek, they went total Vince Russo. Total Vince Russo here. But not as subtle. Well, actually, more subtle. Hunter said, Vince, I know this is supposed to be a family portrait, but, you know, we've been through a lot together, and, hell, I feel like I'm part of your family. Yeah. I feel like, hell, it's almost like I'm married to your daughter, and I'm your son-in-law. And, by the way, it's almost like my children that I have with my current wife are like your grandchildren. Wow. Way to telegraph that one in, Trip. Woo. Real subtle. And of course they bring Hornswoggle out, because he's a McMahon too. And they do some funny, goofy shit for a while. Vince ends up walking out. Actually, no, Stephanie does something kind of funny too. She just basically plants one on Triple H. And as she walks away, Triple H is like, I'll see you at home. I mean, your brother's a gnome. Again, subtle. But, again, I guess the only way they salvaged this was they somehow made a mistake that it wasn't Vince McMahon's son. It was actually Finley's son. And this, for some reason, turned Finley into a good guy for a while until he left. But this whole angle was a complete waste of time. Because again, it would have worked so much better if it didn't even have to be Kennedy. Pick a young wrestler. Pick anybody out there. Didn't matter. It didn't matter who the hell it was. Just it was a chance to get somebody some recognition, some exposure. You know, okay, it's not Kennedy. Well, who wasn't doing anything at that time? Well, you can't say Randy Orton, but you know who it could have been? And it probably would have worked really well, was John Cena. Have John Cena be his son. Why not? It makes no sense, but who cares? I don't think they had announced that they put his father on TV yet, but why not go with that? Have John Cena be Vince McMahon's son. And just go with it. You know, have Vince kind of conflicted, like, okay, do I really want to push this guy because he's, I don't know. It would have been a great way to turn him heel, but John Cena doesn't turn heel, does he? I have a whole rant planned for that one too, but I'm trying to think. Anything else about this? Not really. This was the last time Vince McMahon's grapefruits got him in trouble. Maybe. But I don't know. Vince hasn't been on TV lately. It's been Triple H and Stephanie, and I miss Vince McMahon more and more because I don't know. It's like I said once before, when Vince McMahon was in charge, when he was the head heel, he never put himself, oh no, I can't really say that. He knew when to lose. Let's say that. He knew when somebody needed to lose. You know, it's just like when Steve Austin was the champion. They screwed him over later, but at the same time, they always kept Steve Austin strong. I don't know. I'm rambling now, but what can we learn from all this, kids? Well, something I've told people many times. If you're going to get busy, if you're going to get jiggy with it, with a woman or a guy, wrap it before you tap it. There's my public service announcement for you. Wrap it before you tap it. I know that sounds completely Neanderthal and just caveman talk, but for God's sakes, do it! You know? Your 18-second orgasm isn't worth 18 years of child support. Remember that. There's your public service announcement. Like, that 18-second orgasm ain't worth 18 years of child support. Condoms you can get them for 75 cents up at Sheetz. Child support, what they say, like the average child support is, oh gee, I don't want to, I guess it depends. Average is maybe almost like $30,000-$40,000. It's a lot. So I hope you've learned something from this. So probably the next video, the next video I'm going to do something that I totally forgot about. And it took Dog to give me the idea. So next WTF is going to be a movie review. And it's up there as one of my favorite movies of all time. So stay tuned for that, and I'll see you later.